Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And we have a lot to go over in this video. I hope that you're all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. Recently, Chris Vasquez had Brad Garlinghouse on his channel doing a full podcast style video regarding a few things regarding the space, regulation, where Ripple's headed, stablecoin adoption, things like that. And one of those big insights was the SEC. Now, I'm going to go over something because yesterday we got a massive W against the SEC, but also the anti-crypto army that has been brewing and building and growing around the US government, including even the president. So, with that in mind, let's dive on into this video that got posted by Subjective Views. This is from Chris Vasquez's video with Brad Garlinghouse. And we have Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse confirms that the SEC will lose and that the best technologies usually win in the long run. Check it out.
Right, and there's no negative consequence to Gary Gensler to keep fighting the fight.
No, you're right.
It doesn't cost him a dime.
What do you think about the future in that regards then? Like, do you feel like the SEC is powerful enough to curtail the crypto industry as a whole? Or do you think it's a matter of time?
Oh, they're going to lose in the long run.
They're going to lose in the long run. Just
yeah,
enough
this
time.
Is just, I mean, look, if you look at the continued growth of crypto as a multi-decade arc of time, this is nothing.
This is nothing.
It's a speed bump. Because I'm so optimistic about what the future of crypto looks like, we'll look back in 20 years and be like, God, that sucked. But you know what? Little bump, whatever. The market, in my opinion, the market will be measured in many trillions.
Yeah.
And it will change the way many transactions work because it's a way to reduce friction, reduce cost, make things more efficient. It's going to win in the long run. The best technology usually wins in the long run.
Yeah.
Right. And
you know, I truly, can't agree more with that statement, because not only is it the fact that, yeah, we will win in the long run, regardless of what the SEC is doing now, it doesn't affect what this space will look like in 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years. And, as we do look at the TAM for this technology, you got to remember, the total addressable market for crypto technology to truly disrupt, revolutionize, and make efficient is in, quadrillions. I mean, you have the $2.5 quadrillion giant, the DTCC, looking at tokenizing securities and looking into, streamlining settlements and, payments. So think about how big of an opportunity we have in front of us. And, everything that's happening around the SEC and regulation, it's the same exact thing that happened back in the beginning of the internet. And it's happening again, and we all know where the internet went, but this is on a much larger scale because we are affecting every single thing. Everything of value will be affected by this technology. Now, beyond that, let's actually dive on into this video clip over here. It's about almost 7 minutes long, so bear with me with this video clip. But this is Elizabeth Warren, and we have U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren urges the Senate to vote no on legislation that would allow highly regulated financial firms to custody Bitcoin and crypto. Now, this is the big news. We're going to talk about it. We're going to address it. I'm going to speed this up to about roughly 1.5x. Hopefully, it is not too fast. If it is, you guys are more than welcome to slow the video down. But listen closely.
Our vote today is on a staff accounting bulletin issued by the SEC back in the spring of 2022. Now, the SEC has issued these bulletins, they're called SABs, for nearly 50 years without anyone ever suggesting that they were subject to the CRA. The CRA has a time limit for a reason, so that settled law is settled law, something that everyone can count on. And the CRA is limited to agency rules, so that a single member of Congress can't tie up agencies and Congress with expedited procedures under the CRA by raking over the details of every agency action. Today's vote, coming more than 2 years after the SEC wrote the bulletin and applying to a staff bulletin rather than a rule, is far outside the scope of the CRA. We should not be holding this vote, and all by itself, that is a good enough reason to vote no. But let's talk about the substance of this SAB for just a minute. Fairness of our markets depends on transparency. Investors in pension funds and 401ks and workers who are trying to save for retirement all have a right to know what they are investing in. Securities and Exchange Commission is the guardian of those financial disclosures that give investors information about a company's business plan, about its leadership, and about the risks that it faces in the market. So to help public companies disclose information about their business in a consistent way from one business to another so that investors can make comparisons, the SEC issues staff accounting bulletins, these SABs, to clarify guidance about emerging issues in the accounting industry, how to tell people about this business. SAB number 121 was published to provide accounting guidance to companies that hold customers' digital assets. It says that because of some of the unique technological and legal risks associated with digital assets, public companies that safeguard crypto assets for their customers should make the risks associated with holding those assets visible to investors. One way that this risk shows up is that if a company safeguards property for someone, just an ordinary company is holding property for someone like stocks or bonds or jewelry, the company bears the risk that the property could be stolen. And that is why companies that hold property for others carry insurance, and it's why they have really big safes. But if the company safeguards crypto, there is a special risk that's not there with other kinds of property. Crypto can get hacked. In fact, there have been some pretty major crypto hacks in which assets just vanish. The risk isn't theoretical, it is real. FTX, $600 million, poof. Binance, $586 million, poof. Ronin Network, $625 million, poof. And Poly Network, $611 million, poof. All in just the last 3 years. We have seen multiple hacks of crypto platforms. The unique risks of crypto can create liabilities that seriously impact a company's financial condition. SAB 121 simply clarifies how companies should account for those risks in their financial disclosures. That's all it's doing. Now, there's a second kind of problem with crypto, and that is if a company safeguards property for someone, stocks, bonds, jewelry, like we talked about earlier, if the company doing the safeguarding goes bankrupt, the true owner of the stocks or the bonds or the jewelry can get their property back. But if the company that goes bankrupt is holding crypto, the peculiarities of crypto ownership and possession mean that the creditors of the bankrupt company could keep the crypto. The true owner may just be out of luck. Once again, SAB 121 simply clarifies how companies should make clear those risks in their disclosures. So let's talk for just a minute about what SAB 121 doesn't do. It doesn't bring customers' crypto assets onto a crypto platform's balance sheet or make the platform the owner of a customer's digital assets. Instead, SAB 121 requires disclosure of what other substantive laws, including bankruptcy laws, are already doing. This effort to reverse the SEC's accounting guidance would deprive investors of accurate information on the risks of holding crypto assets and corrode public trust in our financial system and our institutions. The vote today is about ensuring that the SEC is able to issue guidance that will help companies of all sizes produce strong, consistent, timely, and meaningful accounting disclosures. It's about protecting critical informational tools that investors and companies have relied on for half a century. And it's about maintaining the integrity of our markets, which relies on a clear, consistent accounting rulebook. Democrats should stand with President Biden against this effort to attack the SEC's authority. I urge my colleagues to oppose this bill.
Now, of course, this sounds great on paper when you think about it, but realistically speaking, we know that these regulatory movements, like, for example, SAB 121, we know that this is a backdoor hidden regulatory chokehold put on crypto. It basically stops these highly regulated financial firms from even looking into crypto, holding crypto, and even adopting crypto. It's a big, big mistake. And that's why when we really kind of look at this, right, we were just waiting for this to get completely overturned. And guess what? We got some pretty big news. But I also want to play this clip here as well, because this is from Subjective Views. And we have Johnny Deaton 1 is running against Senator Warren and her anti-crypto banker buddies like Jamie Dimon. And yes, listen closely to this video here as well.
I'm not saying this because I'm some partisan hack. I mean, the other side would tell you this. There's a whole of government opposition to crypto today. And it's not an accident, and it's not based on the nuances of securities law. It's a policy judgment that was made at the time of the election. And what I mean by that is that a thing that happened in the 2020 election that's not as widely known as it should be is when then candidate, Biden, was running for office, and if you remember, he lost the first 2 primaries, so he was not looking like a likely winner. And he went into the South Carolina primary, which was the best chance he had of locking up, delegates going into the next Super Tuesday campaign. Elizabeth Warren at the time was a strong candidate. She was seen as a very viable opposition candidate to him. There was basically Biden, Sanders, and Warren. Warren struck a deal with the Biden campaign during the South Carolina primary. It's a true story, which basically said, listen, in exchange, because this was her talking, I don't see a path to raising enough money to get through Super Tuesday, even if I might come in second here, blah, blah, blah. So I tell you what, I will drop out and I will endorse you if you will agree that I get decision-making authority over the financial agencies. So I get to pick the heads of those agencies, and those agencies are going to agree to implement an agenda that I have. And this makes sense, right? Because her whole career was about consumer finance and consumer bankruptcies. I mean, she cares more about these issues than any other single person. And that deal was struck. So she endorsed Biden. Biden then became the nominee and won the election. What you see today, therefore, it's not Gary Gensler reading the securities laws and saying, regrettably, Ethereum might meet the standards to be a security. He was put there to fight crypto. Right? Remember, Elizabeth Warren has a campaign apparatus called the Anti-Crypto Army. That's her name, not mine. So too with the acting controller of the currency, another person who was picked from the Warren world to come and enact that policy at the OCC. So too, a number of other key people, specifically including the head of the SEC, Gary Gensler.
Now, who is this individual talking? Well, it's Brian Brooks. And all of you probably already know who Brian Brooks is. He is, or I should say was, the acting comptroller of the currency. I believe that was actually back in 2021. I might be wrong on that. But since then, he has been all in on the Web3 and crypto world. And it is for good measure. I mean, when we really kind of look at the future of this space, it is very significant. But we also got this recently on May 15th, right? It's time to overturn SAB 121. And this is going to allow for the future of the digital economy to truly start ramping up, especially for those major banks and institutions that want to hold crypto and also adopt it. We even have down here that it's significant because it requires publicly traded banks to place digital assets on their balance sheet. This change contradicts a basic rule of bank custody that bank custodial assets are always held off balance sheet. As a result, banks are staying on the sidelines. So this was a chokehold essentially for crypto for major banks. But now, guess what we finally got? Well, we have a majority vote for yes on the repeal of SAB 121 in defiance of President Biden veto threat. Now remember, these are also Democrats. This is a blow to the authority and influence of the Warren-Gensler-Biden alliance. Is it possible that a crypto market structure bill could actually pass Congress this year? And it would be definitely exciting to see that happen. But it seems as though regulatory motive is heating up, and we're now starting to see a major alliance growing against these anti-crypto and anti-innovation individuals like Elizabeth Warren, Gensler, and even Biden. And then also we have over here, getting interesting, everyone rallying against Elizabeth Warren and Gensler. It is crazy to see, and it's amazing to see. This is historic. President of the United States do the right thing and sign this bipartisan resolution into law. And we hope to see this actually go into law. It would be a huge move. And we also have over here the Senate passing a CRA overturning SAB 121 is a win for financial innovation and a clear rebuke of the way the Biden admin and Gary Gensler have prosecuted crypto. It also marks the first time Congress has passed standalone crypto legislation. We are just getting started. And also over here we are extremely pleased with the outcome of today's vote. Now it's time to put pressure on the White House, call President of the United States and of course we have the number there, and urge him to sign the HJ Res 109 into law. And yes, everyone should do this, because guess what? The more voices that we have, the more support that we have, the harder it is to ignore. This is a big moment for crypto, especially if we can get this thing passed into law. We are now starting to see the rise against the anti-crypto army, and I do think that technology is going to win out at the end of the day. And also a quick little video clip from Perry Ann. She was in DC, really kind of listening in and hearing this. Of course, we have Congress voting yes to nullify SAB 121, and check it out.
Hey guys, this has been just such an incredible day. I've been on the Hill all day long. I'm here with over 100 other crypto advocates. We've spent the day getting support for the digital asset legislation that we're driving to bring clarity to our industry. What happened today was truly incredible. The Senate voted to nullify SAB 121, or the SEC's staff accounting bulletin. That's absolutely just disastrous for the digital asset space, which also procedurally was flawed. There were over 60 votes for this bill. It is, Senator Cynthia Lummis said this is historic. The reason why she said that is because it's very, very difficult to ever get 60 votes on anything. And we got 60 votes on an issue that impacts the digital asset space. This is a watershed moment. There were 12 Democrats that voted in support for this bill. Just bear with me for a minute so I can walk you through why that's such a big deal. The president, Joe Biden, had issued a statement earlier saying that he will veto this bill. Essentially what he's doing is he's telling the Democrats he doesn't like it, he's not going to support it, he's going to veto it. And it's kind of like a nudge to the party of, hey, don't vote in support of this bill. This bill went forward in the House last week. 21 Democrats broke rank and voted in support of the bill. Today, 12 Democrats voted in support of this bill in the Senate, including Chuck Schumer. Schumer is the Senate majority leader. He is the second most powerful Democrat in the country, only second to the president, Joe Biden himself, which means right now I am sure the White House is rethinking their strategy, rethinking their position to have Chuck Schumer vote for this in support. It is definitely a big deal. We 100% have a chance of getting this done, getting this across the finish line. That could take a couple of different forms. We'll be working through and game planning all of that over the next couple of days and hours. But just wanted to check in and share how excited we are. The tides are really turning here for crypto in Washington, and we are never.
And, you know, it really is turning, right? Like the tide is truly turning on those that have been fighting and fighting and fighting back against crypto, trying to stomp it out. And the reason why they want to stomp it out is because these are all individuals that are extremely corrupt. They try to manipulate. They try to, you know, get ahead by hurting those like you and me. And now with crypto, with Bitcoin, with all of this, it's truly taking power away from those that want it most. It's ultimately also killing the corruption, because now everything starts to look a little bit more transparent. But now we are finally winning against those that hate to see this space succeed. And it's only a matter of time until the technology wins. And we are getting closer and closer to those days, as we do see the SEC and this anti-crypto agenda take an L after L after L, and this one was an absolute massive one. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.